Good morning, Gospel Kids. Today we're going to read a story out of the Gospel Story Bible. And we're reading story 121, which is Pentecost, from Acts 1:12 to 2:13. After Jesus ascended into heaven, the 11 remaining apostles returned to Jerusalem. They gathered in the upper room with Jesus' mother Mary, his brothers, and his other followers. Together they spent time praying while they waited for the Holy Spirit. During this time, Peter said they should choose a replacement for Judas, who had betrayed the Lord. This man, Peter said, must be one of the men who were with the Lord the whole time since John's baptism. Two men were suggested: Joseph, called Barabbas, and Matthias. The apostles prayed and asked the Lord to guide the choice. Then they cast lots, which is like drawing straws to see who got the shorter straw. That man would be God's choice. Matthias was chosen, so he became the 12th apostle from that day on. The group patiently waited and prayed for Jesus' promise to come true. Then, on the day of the feast of Pentecost, their wait was over. A great sound filled the room, like a mighty rushing wind from heaven. Then small flames like tongues of fire appeared above each person, and they were filled with the Holy Spirit. In that moment, the Holy Spirit gave each of them the ability to speak in other languages. The Spirit Jesus promised had come. Meanwhile, people from many countries had gathered in Jerusalem for the feast. They heard the sound coming from the house, and they came closer. But as they listened more carefully, they were bewildered. Each one could hear his own language being spoken. Aren't all these people from Galilee? They asked each other. How can they be speaking to us in our own language? The people in the crowd were from all surrounding lands: Medes and Parthians, Elamites, people from Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, Egypt and Libya, Syrian, visitors from Rome, Cretans, Arabians, and of course, Jews. That was a lot of people. All of them heard the apostles talking about God's mighty works in their own languages. How had this happened? Most of the people were amazed at what they heard and wondering what it might be. But a few of them had their own idea what was going on. They are drunk, they said. They are filled with new wine. And even though it was still early in the morning, of course, those people couldn't have been more wrong. The outpouring of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost marked the beginning of God's plan to reach the nations with the gospel. The book of Acts tells us that people from at least 15 different countries were there that day. Jesus came to fulfill the promise that God made to Abraham centuries before, that he would be a blessing to all nations. With the coming of the Holy Spirit, the fulfillment of that promise to reach the nations with the good news of salvation had begun. Here's our picture. Do you see all of them sitting together at the table? And do you see the flames? That's the Holy Spirit. Have a good day, guys.